Hi, I'm Sharon Farber. People often ask, how do you protect yourself in mediumship? My response to that is that you don't. There is no need to protect yourself when you're doing mediumship. If you think you need to protect yourself, there's some idea that there's something to be afraid of or something bad that can happen. And my understanding and belief, mediumship is all about bringing love between those on this side of life with those in the spirit world. We are using our intention to bring healing to people. Spirit people are coming through out of love to connect with their embodied loved ones. I personally don't believe in Satan or hell, demons, entities, or evil spirits, and I will make other videos to address those specifically. But what that leaves is nothing to protect from. You don't need special crystals. You don't need to do prayers for the archangels. And even the idea that you have to protect yourself can bring to you a sense of fear, because protection comes out of the idea that there's something to fear. I have a healthy fear of embodied people. People here on this planet do terrible things. Some of them, they're evil and awful and kill people and do worse, if there can be worse. Just they do awful things. I have a healthy respect for embodied people. My spirit people have no power over us. They can't make us say or do anything. They don't want to. All the good and evil is here on this planet with us. Yes, there's good and evil and free choice, but it's all here on the planet. Personally, I believe that the spirit world is literally where people go to heal. People who did terrible things while they were here on this planet are getting the healing that they need and evolving as a soul. There is no one in the spirit world who wants to hurt an embodied person. Worst case scenarios, I can think of 3 worst case scenarios, which is as close as it gets to something that might be fearful or at least uncomfortable when working with the spirit world. Scenario 1 is if a medium is connecting with a spirit person who was an angry, nasty person who did bad things when they were here in this world. They connect with them, and the spirit person needs to present themselves with the personality they had when they were living, or they won't be recognized. So if a medium doesn't know any better, or somebody who's sensitive and connecting with spirits who might not even know that they're really a medium is connecting with a spirit person who presents themselves as nasty and mean, they might think that here's an evil person, when in fact, the spirit person coming through has to show themselves, their essence, their character, and personality from when they were here, so that the sitter, the person you're giving a reading to, will understand whom they are. And then they always come through with, okay, it was my fault. I take responsibility. I'm sorry. I did the wrong thing. Please forgive me. I love you. It wasn't your fault. And all those kind of things. Everybody exclusively coming through in a mediumship reading, in my experience and in the experience of the mentors that I know and trust, are coming through out of healing and out of love. So people might misunderstand when somebody comes through and presents themselves the way they were when they were here, if they weren't a nice person, but they're nothing and nobody that you need to protect yourself against. Scenario number 2 is when you're intentionally or unintentionally doing mediumship, you're connecting with a spirit person and you are using your clairsentience, which is you are feeling their emotions or their physical sensations from the spirit person, and they might be a little bit too much. You may feel overwhelmed by a sadness they experienced when they were living, or they may be impressing you with a physical sensation they had relating to their passing or an illness that they had. So you might feel a pain in your head, or you might feel tightness in your chest, or you might feel dizzy. And if any of these sensations, emotional or physical, are too much, make them stop. Say, stop, back off, too much. Just give me a sense of the information you want to give me. And that's up to the medium who sometimes we're too open and sensitive and too excited to feel everything. And because people like that generally are doing that with embodied people also, they're a little bit too empathic at times. So if you're getting overwhelmed with a sensation from a spirit person, you just tell them to back off and you take responsibility for it. I do that with students all the time. They say, my head hurts, and I say, tell them to back off. And they are surprised, like, oh, I can do that. I'm like, yes, do that. They do that and their head stops hurting. That's just an example. So that is a place where you can use your boundaries, your intention, and have a spirit person step back, but it's not a place where you're protecting yourself or in need of a protection. Third scenario is just boundaries in general and deciding when you want to connect with those on the other side. Some people open themselves to mediumship or are spontaneously open, and they feel and experience and are aware of spirit people too much, like maybe all the time or at times when they don't want to. Maybe you want to be alone in your room meditating or doing something quiet, or be out and about with people and not feel, sense, experience a spirit person wanting to give you a message or have you contact somebody. Once again, nothing scary, nothing to protect yourself from, and really simple. All you do is say no. You decide when you do and don't want to work with the spirit world. If you don't want to work with the spirit world, you use your intention not to. If you have a spirit team that you're aware of or a sense of creator, source, divine spirit, anybody or team on the other side that you work with, you can ask them for help. Hey, spirit team, I'm not open now. Help me keep the door shut. But basically, it's up to you. If you don't want to connect with spirit people, don't. You are never obligated to. You don't feel bad if you sense a spirit person who wants you to connect with somebody. Don't do that. It's actually inappropriate and unethical and invasive to approach strangers trying to give them a message from their loved one in spirit that they haven't asked to connect with. If somebody doesn't ask you for a reading, approaching them and trying to give them a reading is usually not a good idea. So if you don't want to connect with spirit people at a given time or any time other than you want to, just say no and don't, and mean it. And when you do want to work with a spirit person, prepare yourself, have a sitter, which is somebody who wants to receive a reading, and then you give a reading. You say, okay, use your attention, reach out to the spirit world and give a beautiful reading. No worries. To finalize that, there is no need to protect yourself in mediumship. Don't do mediumship when you're drunk or on drugs. I guess that's fourth scenario. If you're drunk or on drugs or miserable or not psychologically stable, okay, so there are four scenarios. Don't do mediumship if you're not grounded in reality and basically sober, straight, and able to see the difference, realize the difference between reality and psychoses. You want to be able to be in a clear, grounded, sane, coherent, emotional, and state of consciousness when you connect with the spirit world, because then you are able to communicate with them well. You can do this out of love and healing and support people and do this sacred healing work. If you're not okay, if you have a serious psychosis, you might freak yourself out and bring yourself into some kind of scary state because you're not grounded in reality. And if you're drunk or on hard drugs, opiates or something, you might bring yourself into a fearful state because your consciousness isn't clear and strong, and mediumship does use your imagination. So you could create a situation that will feel scary to you. But once again, to reiterate, no need to protection. There are no evil spirits ready to jump on you. There are no attachments ready to suck your energy. and use your beautiful intention to connect with spirit out of love. And that is my story about protection. Thank you for listening. I hope you liked the video. Feel free to like, subscribe, and I'll see you again soon, maybe. Thanks.